Welcome to another episode of Distilling the West. I'm your host, Dan, joined by my co-host, Dave. How you doing over there, Dave?
I'm doing fantastic. Just got back from a 2-week trip to Japan the other day. So yeah, it was amazing.
Sounds amazing.
It was a group of 9 people, including some of my best friends from, I don't know, when I was 8 years old. So it was very, very cool. And yeah, still recovering from jet lag.
Well, very nice. Yeah, we're sitting over here in Chico with some nice, warm, luckily not too hot weather, and we're feeling a little bit envious of our guests today, Kimberlee Weaver and Tanya Slye from Jetty Wave Distillery from Half Moon Bay, California. With the good weather over there, I'd love to have a little cool off over there. How are you two doing today?
We're doing great.
Great, yeah.
Complain about the weather today.
Yeah.
Tanya's our good luck weather charm. So anytime Tanya's around, we tend to have good weather here in Half Moon Bay. So
I do my best.
You have to come up here to Chico.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, great. Yeah, I'm so enthused to have you guys on today, and thank you again for sending this wonderful lineup. Today we have your, can I say your flagship gin, and then your barrel-aged gin, and your bourbon, and your American single malt whiskey. So we have our work cut out for us today, and I'm really excited to get into this. But first off, before we get into the spirits, we'd love to hear more about you two. So Kimberlee, you want to kick it off and let us know, what were you doing before you got into being the general manager and distiller of Jetty Wave?
yeah, no, it's been a crazy journey. We think back to it all the time of kind of where it all started. But my background is in hospitality and tourism management. That is my formal college degree, and I worked in hotels primarily. I was working with Marriott International. I went to school and lived in Hawaii for a couple of years. I also grew up in the Sacramento area, but I grew up in Antelope.
Okay.
So very familiar with the getting out of Sacramento area feeling. I escaped across the ocean, went to school out there, continued my education, specifically within food and beverage and event management. Kind of chased that down, worked for some hotels out there. I was working for the Ritz-Carlton Residences property in Waikiki Beach as part of like my final internship program with my school. And I got placed in a post-graduation management program with Marriott International here in Half Moon Bay after I graduated.
Awesome.
So I ended up at the Ritz-Carlton here, which is just a mere like 15 minute drive from where Jetty Wave is. And I spent about 3.5, almost 4 years at that property specifically. And that was during COVID. So a lot of things are, of course, changing in the hospitality world. I had met some of the partners from Jetty Wave during my time there. And they'd kind of let me know, they said, we're opening up a distillery and we're not 100% sure of all the different things that we need to do for the front of house side of things on the bar. So I came along with one of my bartenders from the Ritz, David Cruz, who is still with us today bartending 5 years later, which is awesome. And we just came in and I was working in the bar. I was helping just create different cocktails, running it on the weekend, kind of helping facilitate just service in general. We're only open on the weekends. So I just kind of came after work, before work. And then I was given the opportunity to be able to stay with Jetty Wave full time, which was awesome. Just something new. I was only in my early 20s at the time. And so I kind of just said, now's the time to do it if I'm going to do it. And I just jumped away and went right for it. And it's been awesome. I love hospitality and I love food. And I had this huge gap in my knowledge about beer and wine and spirits. I grew up in a family that didn't drink.
Okay.
I had no idea. I couldn't even open a bottle of wine. I had no idea what made it, vice versa. So this was a really good opportunity for me to kind of jump all in and learn hands-on, which is how I learned. So that for me was awesome for them to give their faith in me to learn that alongside of them. And I feel like I've learned a lot. I've gained a lot of knowledge. I have a total new respect for any bottle that I see on the shelf, any cocktail that I see on a bar program. I have so much respect for people who do that every day and create, which is so amazing. So that's my background.
And we are so lucky to have Kim, and she also wears like 40 other hats that she didn't mention here as our ops manager. She may have started off with the bar program, but now she runs the place.
I do.
From the back of the house to the front of the house to so many different things. So we are super fortunate.
Thank you, Tanya.
Kim.
And she lets me drink on the job, which is great.
Only
occasionally.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Tanya, do you want to tell us about your background before Jetty Wave?
I grew up in Davis, California, so
Okay.
not far from
Yeah.
Sacramento. And I ended up going to small business development program for school up in Vancouver, Canada, and then organic farming school in Santa Cruz,
Oh, cool.
California,
Oh,
which is
cool.
where I met my husband, who is also a partner in Jetty Wave. And my whole background is basically in botanicals, whether it's
Okay.
flowers or garden design. Those are two of the main things that I do personally. But I've brought that botanical knowledge to Jetty Wave and transformed it into spirits as well. Super proud of our botanical gin. That was my recipe. It's my little baby.
Oh,
Very
My
cool.
kids joke that I'm prouder of it than them. One more award. They're not wrong. Yeah, but they're also involved in Jetty Wave.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
older one is out here
Working right now.
right now working. He's 20, so he can't wait to be 21 and get to actually be a bartender here.
Hmm. Very cool.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I identify with your background as well, being a wildlife biologist. It's really cool that you're able to apply that to kind of blending your passions together. So that's really cool. Really cool.
Absolutely.
Blending
And,
the
and
passions.
Tanya hasn't mentioned that she's a great host as well. She is like, if you go over to Tanya's house, number one, you have a drink in your hand the second you walk in the door. The food's amazing. Her hosting is amazing. And so we bring a lot of kind of Tanya's essence and like her botanical background as well as her hosting and just kindness kind of into Jetty Wave and into that brand identity of what we do here and how we operate, which is
Yeah.
super cool.
When we were opening Jetty Wave, I was explaining it to some girlfriends how it was going to be, what we were doing, and they said, "So it'll be like going to your backyard for drinks, but I'll have to pay for my drink."
That's
I'm like,
perfect.
Yes,
pretty
just like
much,
that. I love it. Well, we met you at the American Craft Spirits Association conference this year in Sacramento. And, it was just such a natural connection. You two are so friendly. It was great to meet you and make the connection. Yeah, so I was instantly, drawn into you guys and your warmth and just open personality. So I think that
Thank you.
probably shines through in your spirits and sounds like your business model too. So that's excellent. Well, I would like to wet my whistle as well, Dave.
Okay.
Yes.
So would you guys like to introduce your first flagship gin there?
Our baby.
Yes.
We love it.
So it's a botanical blend. It's got
Juniper, cardamom, coriander, pistachios, Meyer lemon, thyme, shiso leaf. We use nasturtium blossoms, which are the flowers on the back of the label. They grow like wildflowers out here on the coast. They kind of have like a peppery essence to them. We grow those on site and we handpick them every morning for gin runs, which is just super fun to be out in the garden and harvesting. Our outdoor patio area is filled with planters and all of our planters are edible. So we do have like a thyme planter out there, mint for mojitos and all of those basics, but then also fun ingredients like shiso or different herbs that might not be front and center on your grocery list, but
Yes.
definitely a good one to include.
but shiso is one of my favorites.
She's
I
so fly.
included all of my she's so fine, exactly. I included all my favorites in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Now, how much of the botanicals that go in this gin do you guys grow on site?
So every bottle has our nasturtiums in it,
Okay.
and then we source local thyme and shiso we're buying locally.
Meyer lemons,
Meyer
we've gotten
lemons,
locally.
we do locally. Every once in a while, we'll do a batch of the gin that has got all of the botanicals, including the juniper from our local Filoli Historic House and Garden in Woodside. So that's always fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
super
they
cool.
let us hand harvest. I had no idea how prickly juniper bushes are. My fingers were a little bit sensitive after my like 2-pound harvest I did. Oh my gosh, it was so meticulous, but it was so rewarding at the end of it. So they have a special batch of our gin that is crafted with all of their ingredients they grow on site, which is maybe 10 miles from us here
Yes.
at Jetty Wave.
Well, this is nice. I really like the bright citrus and floral component, and then of course the juniper up front. But maybe it is those nasturtium blossoms, but that pepperiness at the back end is really
Black
well
pepper
balanced.
in it as
Okay,
well, so
yeah,
you get it
Yeah.
from both.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I like this one a lot. This is great.
It's also better not warm.
We stick ours in the freezer for tastings, and
Okay.
it always just kind of opens
We
it up
have
in a
learned
different
over
way.
the years that really nobody wants to drink warm gin except the buyers at stores.
Yeah,
They're like, it's so much better chilled.
just a little bit more
Yeah.
in a gimlet. Yeah.
Or in a gimlet. Yeah. But I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's still super refreshing. It's so light, and like you said, the botanicals really shine through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the cardamom that goes into our gin recipe. I think that's one of the ingredients that kind of helps people. At least we get this here. We get so many people who come in and they've had a terrible experience with gin, and they say, "Oh, I don't drink gin. I will never drink gin." One time when I was 16, and they tell me this whole trauma story about how they drank too much Beefeater one day,
Yeah.
or something. And I always say, just try our gin, because it is kind of in that new class of gin that's opening up, where it's not just about the juniper and the citrus. There's also so much more that's going on. People are leaning into where they're located to be able to find their botanicals and find their herbs, which makes it so much more unique. Which is why we leaned into things like shiso and nasturtiums that we have here on the coast. So the gin truly is our best, expression of being in Half Moon Bay. I feel like the cardamom helps kind of balance out that heavy pine flavor, which is what I think turns a lot of people away from gin, but still staying true to gin, of course, and keeping that juniper front and center. But it's there without being the only thing you notice.
Right.
Yeah.
I have found a lot of people who don't like gin actually really love this gin.
Definitely.
Which is great. We're turning people around one cocktail at a time.
Yeah.
My life mission
I do a
now.
lot of cooking as well. Like Indian cooking and Middle Eastern that uses a lot of cardamom. And I find it goes really well with the citrus. So it kind of seems like it's a nice bridge between that citrus and the juniper there. Yeah, that's great.
Definitely. I'm with you on that one. And we started as a whiskey distillery. So the bourbon and the single malt that we have, those were made before the gin was made, but they were aging during this whole process.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And we were a whiskey distillery, and I was not necessarily a whiskey person at that time. And I was so excited when we decided to do this gin. And truly, I don't even buy any other gin. I love to try other gins, but I just love this gin. It's so simple to work with. It's easy to enjoy by itself. And it's something we've been really proud to create and receive some recognition for. This also has a good food award, which has been just really cool, just for the responsibility behind sourcing our botanicals, how we're producing. So that's just a big win for us.
Yeah,
and our
that's great.
absinthe just took home a good food award as well this year.
Oh,
So
congrats.
it's awesome to see those products with those.
Yeah, so I'd like to actually go back to those early days. Why did you decide to open a distillery?
That is
Tanya.
such a good question. Possibly over imbibing during COVID.
Fair enough.
She was in the Chica Whiskey Club.
Yeah. We were in a pod with our friends and neighbors, David and Michelle, and there was another distillery in Half Moon Bay that was for sale, and we were talking about buying it, and we had so many ideas. They came from sales and marketing. My husband and I have more of the botanical and the aesthetic, and then Lucy rounds everything out. Lucy's our other partner, who's just amazing. And so we were going to buy this other distillery, and it sort of just fell through. Like, their licenses were not quite right. And by that time, we were so far down the rabbit hole, and the local ABC board was saying, there's one more micro distillery license available in the county. Why don't you just start from scratch? So we did. None of us have a distilling background, so we hired a distiller.
Okay.
Anthony, who's amazing, and he was a whiskey guy. So he got us started on our bourbon program. Our first release was actually moonshine.
Half moonshine.
Ah,
Very nice, very nice.
It turns out far fewer people like moonshine than look like gin.
True.
Yeah.
So we no longer sell moonshine, but our bourbon has been really popular, but it takes a while to put out. We were starting off in smaller barrels so that we could put some out 2 years in. And in the meantime, we decided we needed something that we could put off instantly.
Yeah.
So we did gin and vodka.
Gotcha.
Plus, I've always been a gin drinker. So.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah. So natural fit. Yeah, for sure.
So were any of you guys whiskey drinkers to start, or did you convert over a little
I
bit?
have also always been a whiskey drinker.
Okay.
She's a both drinker.
Yeah. I'm not a mezcal drinker. I don't, and Scottish whiskey and Scotch and whatnot
Yeah.
is not my thing. But all the other ones, I would say gin
Very
and
open.
bourbon are my top two.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks for sending the barrel finish version of that. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about the process for this
Well,
one?
that is the exact same gin, but it's aged 6 months in New American oak, and it really
Softens
softens.
it up. Yeah.
It's a totally different gin, even though it's literally the exact same gin.
And
The power of wood.
yeah.
Mhm.
And this is kind of one of those things where we're making whiskey. We've got the barrels. We've ordered the barrels. We're in production doing whiskey. We're still waiting on whiskey. We kind of just had this barrel sitting there and we kind of all looked at each other and we're like, that's kind of funny. But what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Let's try
I
it.
have tried some other barrel finish.
Yeah. I know Bar
gins,
Hill makes a great one.
and
And
Venus. our
Venus had
buddies
one.
Okay.
down
That's
to
really
Banneker's. Yeah.
They're like, that's funny. Let's just put one in. What's the worst that can happen? It's a couple gallons. We'll see how it tastes. We pulled it out. We all loved it.
Yeah.
We love how it tastes. So it's a little bit less of like that lemon flavor. I almost feel
Okay.
like the lemon must just bond straight to the oak barrel in there because
Mm.
the lemon kind of stays behind. It brings out a lot more of that black pepper and ginger root flavor on it, but he still has a great nose. A lot more of that oak vanilla kind of nose on it.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself enjoying this most often as a Negroni.
I was just about to say
Ooh,
this.
okay.
This is my Negroni gin for sure.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask. So now we know. now we're in for some Negronis, Dave.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm working right now for our cocktail program. We're barrel finishing some of our cocktails. So we
Okay.
have right now a Negroni. So it's gonna be twice aged on the gin. Barrel finished Negroni with some Campari and some local vermouth from Napa. And then we have a Manhattan that's aging again right now, as well as an old fashioned. But we just did a tasting of the Negroni out of the barrel yesterday.
It's really good.
It tastes really good. I'm really excited for that one to hit the cocktail program here pretty soon.
That's awesome. So are you guys reusing some of those barrels and going back and forth between the gin and the cocktail, then back to maybe a gin or whiskey or anything like
We don't
that?
really reuse the gin ones except for gin, but we're reusing all of our bourbon barrels, making the single malt and also barrel aging our orange liqueur and our coffee liqueur.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You got-
it was so funny. Recently, I was reflecting. I was like thinking about all the different distilleries in the West, and I was like, we have a ton of oranges here, and I don't see many people making orange liqueur. As I was making like a rye Thai type cocktail recently, I was like, yeah, we have all these oranges. Why are more people not making orange liqueur? So that's interesting. You are.
Really? Ours
Yeah.
is a little different. It's sweetened with honey from
Oh,
Philoli, actually.
Okay.
So it's delicious. I love it
That
just
sounds great.
as is or floated on a margarita.
Mm.
Or my Corpse Reviver #2, my other favorite cocktail.
Absolutely delicious. Yeah, the orange liqueur and some of the specialty spirits like our coffee liqueur have been really fun collaborations and also just ways to kind of reuse the things that we have here. Like we have the oak barrels. We don't want to waste them or like not
Yeah.
get the most out of utilizing them. We want to use them until they're done being used with us
Mhm.
and give us everything that they need. We do our best really not to waste product or, put things off or anything of that nature. So being able to give kind of second life into these barrels is very fulfilling. So even though they've been used for bourbon or single malts, they still get new products put in them often, which is nice, or for the cocktail program or vice versa. But the orange liqueur is awesome because we sweeten it with the honey, so it's not overly
It's
sweet.
not
It's not like a
Right. Nice.
so that's a very fun one to work on.
Yeah.
So you guys are situated in Half Moon Bay, and of course we all know where that is, but I was wondering if you could kind of describe for our listeners maybe where in the Bay Area that's located and just kind of what the overall climate is there.
Yeah, I've been in Half Moon Bay now for 8 years, and it is just a very special town. Even growing up in Sacramento, I hardly even went to Half Moon Bay. I think I can name like maybe once or twice I've been out here prior to me moving out here. But it is quite a unique little community. So we're about 35 minutes south of San Francisco. If you just take Highway 1 straight down, you're going to run right into Half Moon Bay. And we're on like the north side of Half Moon Bay. We're technically in a smaller town called El Granada. We're in the Pillar Point Harbor area. So we have our typical Half Moon Bay Main Street, which is where our large events like the Pumpkin Festival happen. That's about 10 minutes south of us. And then as you just come up, you'll run right into the harbor. So we have a large fishing community. There's a boat launch right here where people can go off and selling crabs right off the docks, and salmon season right now, and all of these fun things. So it is a very agriculturally dense community, which was something I didn't know about Half Moon Bay, which when I moved here, artichokes, Brussels sprouts, pumpkins. And so there is definitely this large mentality with the people who live here about food and the awareness of their food and their drinks, down to their drinks even. And so it's a very unique community, but it's cool. It's right on the ocean. Our weather is between 60 and 65 degrees, I think, pretty much every day.
365. Yeah.
And but it's wonderful. It's a great little hidden gem of the Bay Area. It's a little bit of a slower lifestyle out here. You cross over we call it the hill, and cross over the hill and you're right in the heart of Silicon Valley. We're 40 minutes away from Palo Alto, and San Mateo is just 25 minutes away from us. And then San Francisco just right on the other side. So it's a nice escape. It's a nice place where people often come on the weekends to either get away from Sacramento heat or get out of the city when big events are happening. So we definitely find ourselves with all different types of people who come to visit Half Moon Bay.
Absolutely. And I would say a lot of people discovered Half Moon Bay during COVID.
Okay.
When, the beaches were closed for a couple days, but after that, it was like people wanted to be outside. They wanted to sit 10 feet away from a friend, but still be able to chat. And Half Moon Bay has exploded. I've been here 19 years now, and I love Half Moon Bay. It's been a great place to raise kids. It's a great community.
Yeah.
Great place for a weekend visit.
Yeah, I have some really great childhood memories of doing family trips out to both Santa Cruz and Half Moon Bay. Is Pasta Moon still open?
Absolutely.
Had some great dinners at Pasta Moon. Yeah, it's such a great area. Well, you guys are lucky being out there for sure.
I feel lucky every day. It's a good place.
Well, maybe we can transition a little bit more to the heart of the distillery, your guys' production process. So I'm curious, between like the gins and the whiskey, are you guys running the same still and then just adding like a basket for the botanicals and stuff? What kind of still are you guys running?
So we have our still is from Mile High. So we started with a jacketed still, and then we moved on to a 26-gallon still. Now we've graduated a 53-gallon still. So it's pretty small. But it is super flexible to whatever it is that we are producing at the time. So it is about 53 gallons, and then we'll fit it with either, different columns for vodka production. We have a basket that we utilize for gin. Our gin process is part maceration, and then also including in the basket some of those other botanicals like the shiso and the lemon and the thyme and things like that are a bit softer. And then for whiskey, we can take off the bottom of the still. We've got a nice little onion that we can throw on the top of it and just give it some nice texture on that. But we've been running every single product off of this still since almost the day that we opened. So I would say for the last at least 3.5 years, that has been our full still setup. We had a still originally that we moved on from, and then this has been our ride or die every day.
Nice. And so when you guys are going into your whiskey production, I saw that you guys do like grain to glass. So do you have relationships with farmers to get your grain from?
Absolutely. So all of our malts are coming from Admiral Maltings, which is just by our friends over there at St. George, just right across the street. And they've been wonderful partners. Ron there has been kind of tag teaming alongside of us and helping us find exactly what it is that we wanted for the bourbon. I've never in the single malt, I've not really ever just sampled barley as is, but wow, the flavors. And also Ron can talk about barley for hours, and I've learned something new every single time that I talk to him. Oh my goodness, it is a whole nother world inside of things that I wasn't exposed to, but definitely was very important to Tanya, especially that we weren't sourcing our whiskeys or buying them in. We truly wanted to make a California whiskey. So our corn and our barley are coming within like 100-mile radius of us here
That's
in Half
awesome.
Moon Bay. We're getting those from Woodland, California, and then malting over at Admiral, which has been amazing. We're milling on site for just that extra added freshness,
Nice.
just every morning right before it goes in for mash. But so fun. A lot more labor intensive, but lot more delicious.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of labor and love in our whiskeys.
Yes.
Nice. Well, would you like to introduce the bourbon here?
Yeah, the bourbon is like Tanya was saying, that is the very first thing we ever made here. Full credit to Anthony Marinisi, who helped us develop this bourbon and create it. He came from Kings County in New York. And so this, I think, also pays tribute to some of his background working with primarily corn. So this is like 75-80% corn. This is a lot of corn on there. So it's got a really nice sweetness on it. And then just a little bit of barley. And those are the two ingredients, well, water and some yeast, but it is truly it's just corn and barley. These are, we cook on site, and then our fermentation cycles here in Half Moon Bay kind of depend on the weather. We don't have that rapid temperature fluctuation or anything. We don't even have like central heating or air conditioning in our warehouse. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So we originally started with these beautiful handmade redwood tanks that Anthony.
They were beautiful.
They're beautiful. We've made tables out of them to commemorate them because we loved them so much. And Anthony, we have pictures of Anthony covered in wood shavings, planing each and every one of these down, securing them like no glue, just pushing these planks together, and they would swell once the mash was in them, and they would ferment in there. Our fermentation cycles anywhere between 3 to 5 days, depending on how warm it is outside. The humidity here, I think, also plays a big part in us deciding when we're gonna go ahead and move it to strip. But every day is, the weather's so similar, but the humidity, I think, just plays a huge factor in when we're prepared to be able to make that move. But Anthony truly made this, and then we started moving them into a brand new American oak barrels, and we are aging here on site. We have another container just right out back, so they're being aged here in Half Moon Bay, which again, that salinity totally plays through on some of our whiskeys. Just because they're sitting here for years and years. These are probably about 3 years in 15-gallon barrels is what you're tasting right now.
Okay.
When we first started, we were doing 10-gallon
and even 5-gallon barrels.
5-gallon barrels at the beginning,
and
they were delicious.
Yeah. Tanya made that big commitment up front. Like, we're not going to source any of the whiskey. And so we went with 5-gallon barrels, which was kind of seemed insane at the time because it's very expensive.
Whiskey is an expensive product to not source. But I just feel like there's so many people out there just slapping a label on something. And so I'd rather not make whiskey than source whiskey.
Yeah. No, that's an honorable approach for sure.
I just want to point out, before I even picked up my glass to take a nose, our producer already handed back his empty glass asking for more.
Thank you, another day. I love that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, on the nose here, I do get that nice big corn component. Adds a lot of sweetness. I noticed this is 90 proof, and you guys are using level 3 char on your barrels there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every once in a while find a distiller select where we'll leave it at like 115.
Okay.
We'll probably have one coming out after this reserve, the single malt reserve is completed. Because sometimes even just straight out of the barrel, man, the flavors that are coming just right as you open up, just taking the bung out, you can smell it in the whole distillery. It's so robust in its aroma and on the palate. They match so well to each other. There's not really any big surprises, but they just flow off the palate, which I love.
And every once in a while, there's just one that's just a cut above.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get a nice big vanilla component on there, both on the nose and the taste, and just a nice slight little hug there. Yep.
The little hug.
Oh man, can I use that?
Yeah, go for it.
It's just a nice little hug.
Yeah. It's not too hot. It's just a nice little bit of a, you feel it.
Let's
feel
know
it in the
it's
heart.
there.
It's good. And for the cocktail program, probably one of our most popular cocktails is one of our bourbon cocktails, which is our old fashioned. And this has been a recipe that has been with us since the very first day that we've opened. We've not even been able to tweak the recipe a little bit because people would have my head, but it is, we make an apple and vanilla syrup in-house. And the pairing of that with the bourbon just totally opens it up. Just a couple dashes of bitters. We've got a nice big cube that we put some orange slices into it just to be able to let it dilute as people are enjoying it. And that is such a delicious cocktail. One of my favorites on the menu by far. We call that our Harbor Master's Old Fashioned, since our lovely Harbor Master runs our little area right around here in Princeton.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I might have to experiment with that. I haven't thought of that.
I'll send you the recipe.
Okay. Yeah,
please do.
Yeah, no. You guys want to talk about your cocktail program a little bit? Because that seems like a really big highlight of the distillery for sure.
This seems like a good time to talk about the cold plunge.
Yes, absolutely. Cold Plunge Martini is one of our newer products that we just released, which is a ready-to-drink cocktail.
It's our first ready-to-drink.
Oh,
cool.
Congrats there.
Congrats, yeah.
Thank you, which we're really excited about. And so it kind of came from the fact that we have great cocktails here. And during the week, people are sad they're missing Jetty Wave. They are wondering when they can come and get their next martini. They're desperate for a Harbor Master Old Fashioned. And so we started developing and doing some behind-the-scene work to do some of those in bottle form to be able to allow people to enjoy there. So that has been an incredibly fun project. That comes from our Jetty Wave Vesper Martini. So all of our drinks kind of have fun names. We've got Harbor Master Old Fashioned, and we're making everything in-house for that, which is down to the syrups, juices, lemon juice, lime juice. We're doing everything in-house. I'm not awesome. Buying in any mixers or sour mixes or anything of that nature.
I don't believe in sour mixes.
I don't either. Our margarita even is we call it Green Flash is the name of our juice, but it's a green juice with grapes, cucumbers, lime, ginger root, and agave. And that's our margarita sour mix that we fresh press every day. And so those are the types of things that we really put weight into when we're creating different cocktails is one, can we do it well? Can we do it, with good ingredients, with organic ingredients, with things that maybe we're growing here or that we can secure from any of our local community farmers or anything like that? So that has been a huge, I think, impact on what we decide to put on the cocktail menu. And then, of course, just listening to our guests. A lot of the times they'll say, I want a Mai Tai on the menu and I'm going to put a Mai Tai on the menu or something of that nature. But I think the excitement behind cocktails is just kind of showcasing what you can do, because you can do all of this at home. And that's, I think, something that we try and convey to people when they come to Jetty Wave. We sell our simple syrup, so you can make it at home. Take Jetty Wave home with you. Make these cocktails at home. It brings that social element for people to find a reason to make a drink with somebody and maybe have a talk or chat for a bit, which is always, I think, fun for us.
And so our cold plunge martini is in the same size bottle as our whiskeys there.
Okay.
It's $3.75. And it's a freezer door martini. You just keep it in your freezer and it's perfect. Just poured. No shaking, no stirring. And we're super stoked by how well it's being received.
Oh, fantastic.
We just got a double gold at San Francisco World Spirits Awards.
Congrats.
We're super excited about.
Yeah, that's a big achievement.
Huge.
Kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and I'm just reflecting. I think we're so blessed to be in California and have all these wonderful ingredients just right in our backyard. Talking about like not having a sour mix, where, maybe someone in the middle of the country who doesn't have access to fresh citrus all around us might, reach for something like that. But why do that when we have all these just like beautiful ingredients to play with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think people notice when you put that care into even just down to your cocktails, even down to your sour mix. It's so easy to take the cheap route and to buy the low cost items from Cisco or do any of those, bulk offerings. I'm sure we would make Tanya maybe a little bit more money or something like that, but it's so
I would
important to us.
rather be proud of what we're doing. And
It's so important to us. Absolutely. So even down to just, no waste on our garnishes. Like we don't use a garnish on the weekend. It's getting put in the dehydrator so that way we can use it for a different garnish or different processes like that, which help us feel good about, we make.
Yeah. And during whiskey production, a local pig farmer picks up the spent grain to feed to his pigs.
Yeah. Great work.
Yeah, that's huge. So How much of your clientele is your local community there?
That's a good question.
It's hard to say because, like I said, during COVID, Half Moon Bay exploded, and so we have visitors every weekend. Every
Yeah.
weekend, people are here that have never been here before, never heard of us, and go away as fans, and hopefully take a few bottles with them.
Absolutely. We do have great support, I think, from our local community. Every first Thursday of the month, we offer a locals night where we do 20% off our food and drinks. In Half Moon Bay, there is one road in and one road out.
Okay.
And so sometimes for the locals, it's hard to get out on the weekend because those roads are blocked by people wanting to come in as well. So we host that night as a special day to be able to experience the weekend on a Thursday, live music from a local musician, and offering our fun food and drinks to our local community. And it's kind of an if you know type of night. We don't crazy advertise that night. It's kind of really just for our people who are here. And then of course, like our club program, I would say most of our club program are local community members
Yeah,
who
like 90%.
are just super invested in what it is that we do here. And it's great because we get to see them all the time. They come in and do their tastings or different things, which
And
is
bring
great.
their friends from
And
out
they
of
bring their
town.
friends, which is great. Yeah. So we feel really lucky to work with that. Like Tanya was saying earlier, like the community out here in Half Moon Bay is unlike some, like even like living in Hawaii, I was so scared to leave Hawaii and leave that community of people. It's a very unique place and shared mentality. And that same mentality is totally here in Half Moon Bay about kind of leaning on one another, always reaching to support the local business over anybody else, which for us is so amazing that people would spend their money with us in tough times or in difficult times. And so it's been really eye-opening and kind of them to be with us.
Well, easy to patronize you guys when you guys are doing just amazing work out there, not cutting any corners or taking the easy way out on it, doing it right. I really appreciate that because that's what I enjoy in businesses too. Yeah, for sure. So gosh, every time we do this, I'm like, I need to make a trip out there.
Why would you? I'm just about to say,
when are you coming to visit?
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not too far.
Yeah, no. Now we are beholden, Dave. We
Hey,
must.
it's summertime.
You got to plan it for the summertime when it's 102
Yes.
in Chico and it's a beautiful 65 in Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, get some respite for sure.
All right, so maybe next weekend we'll see how we're feeling.
Yeah, so next weekend. We're open Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. We have our indoor tasting room, which does like flights and stuff like that. And then we have the outdoor bar that does like beer and wine and other stuff.
Margaritas.
And the food is incredible. If anything, you've got to come and enjoy some of the food. So please let us know when you come into town.
I just got a mental image of us setting down the headphones and running off screen right now. And then suddenly we're just there this afternoon.
Well, at 2:00, you can make it.
We can make it by
make
happy
it.
hour.
We're open till 9 tonight for the summer solstice.
Oh,
We have an extra bonus hour for you even.
Yeah, great. Oh yeah, the solstice.
Yeah.
And we really like to support local musicians. We have live music every Sunday from 2 to 5.
That's so
Awesome.
cool.
Love
Yeah.
it.
It's really just an ambiance and a space. I think one of the things I love to tell the story of is kind of like Jetty Wave as a name. It's kind of, sometimes people call it Jelly Wave or different things, but like there is kind of a reason for it to be called Jetty Wave. We're right here on the jetty. And we always kind of joke that it's like this double meaning of like the Jetty Wave, which is an iconic surfing spot. People call it either Surfers Beach, the jetty. People are fishing off the jetty, surfing off the jetty, boogie boarding off the jetty, anything in the water, just right out front. But at the same time, it's that connecting road of Half Moon Bay to El Granada. And you can pretty much guarantee that any time that you drive past there, you're either going to see somebody you recognize in the water surfing, pulled off on the side of the road unloading a surfboard, walking on the coastal trail, biking on the coastal trail. I've seen Tanya so many times biking on the coastal trail. And it's kind of just that wave that like your hands out the window, you're like, hey, neighbor. And we wanted that same experience when people came to Jetty Wave. We wanted people to walk into Jetty Wave and run into their neighbor or see somebody they know and have that Jetty Wave of running into somebody that they know or want to know at Jetty Wave, which I think is really what it's all about. Jetty Wave was founded on the idea of a place for the community to be. The story that they've always shared is like, we just wanted a place where people could, gather together and have conversations and be real, especially in a post-pandemic atmosphere, it was really important. So our space is incredibly conversational, incredibly lean to large groups and people just coming together and being with someone, which is incredibly important to us.
Yeah, kind of that third place
The
between.
third place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You got it
It's
right on the nose.
all about the quality of life.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
I was about to ask you about the origin of the name, so you answered that perfectly. So I'll skip to the labels
Oh,
now.
cool.
So this is your single malt here that we'll be trying here in a second. So is there a story behind the label design? Because you have such a clean design throughout the whole line.
Thank you so much. Yeah, well, on the whiskeys, that has always been their true label. It's kind of a topography rendition of our Jetty area and Half Moon Bay, just a very loose topography that we've used on some of our different like design things around. But this was sketched on we like all kind of like sketched it on a cocktail napkin, quite literally, and we passed it to David, who was one of our partners as well, and we kind of said we're kind of thinking this might look cute, and after several renditions, this is our whiskey.
And you'll notice the texture on that label too is like sailcloth.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
My business partner Lucy is a sailor. She's always at the yacht club down the street. She's actually off sailing today, or she would be chatting with you guys as well. I think you met her at the conference.
Yeah. And like with the whiskey, it's cool. The labels, they kind of have like a fabric thing going on.
Right, that's the sailcloth.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
A little nod to Lucy's sailing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Which was very fun trying to secure that exact fabric paper, fabric paper ? And getting those printed. We got those printed with a local printer, and
that's definitely not cutting corners.
That was an expensive label, but it's a cute label, so I love it.
Yeah.
And then the jellyfish and the rest of the labels kind of came later. We did some work with Amos McRae, who did some work with Seven Stills in the city, which is another one of our distillers, worked with them, and we were so happy with our labels and some of the work that they've done, and kind of embodies Half Moon Bay,
especially the cold plunge.
The cold plunge is one of our favorite labels.
My favorite label
for us.
Well, I really like the nose on this. I get a nice bready, kind of crackery on the single malt there, and then there's also like a little bit of maybe a banana component on the nose. On the taste, both your whiskeys, they're nice and soft and very approachable. Not harsh. Again, that light hug on it is great. And then on the back end, there's a nice like pepperiness to it. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So we have our classic maritime single malt. This is our single malt reserve. So all of our single malts were put into 5-gallon barrels, aged together, and then blended. Our bourbons are all single barrel. You'll notice even like inscribed, it might even be my handwriting on that bottle. It'll tell you exactly what barrel it is and how many bottles came out of that barrel. The single malt is an actual blend of all of the barrels that we did. Just because that was our first time making that as well. We didn't really know how it was going to change barrel to barrel. Whereas the bourbon, we felt pretty confident that every batch was turning out delicious. We had some time to experiment with that one. We had seen some barrels come out before the single malts was even out, I want to say. And so the single malts, those are all 5 gallons blended. And the single malt reserve is actually a slightly larger barrel that was aged for twice as long as the original single malt was.
Okay.
So this one's a bit richer. It's a bit more robust in some of the other flavors that the original maritime single malt doesn't have. I love kind of the chocolatiness that comes through on this single malt. That is Gallagher's Best and Kiln Smith from Admiral. So those are just some funky flavors just on the barley alone with the Kiln Smith, which provides some of those deeper, richer, more robust flavors that you just get straight from the barley. It is barley and water and yeast and water and love and oak. It's a really unique one for what it is. We often refer to this as like bonfire juice. It's kind of our perfect for the beach kind of spirit, which we love.
Yeah, we got to nibble on the Gallagher's Best and the Kilnsmith with Ron as well on an episode. So
we had him on pretty early on.
Have you guys been out to Alameda to the malting floor?
We haven't. It's also
Have
on our
to.
list.
You
Yeah.
have to put that on your list.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. We've taken the team on field trips there.
Mhm.
I've been there 3 times now, and you learn something new every time, but just seeing the floor malting process
Yeah.
is amazing.
Mhm.
And all the guys there are
Yeah.
just like, you walk past them and a little encyclopedia falls out of their head.
Talk about not cutting corners. Those
Yeah.
guys don't cut a single corner.
No.
Yeah.
I got to use the rake,
Okay.
and that is 10 times heavier than I thought it was gonna be. I was putting my whole back into it, and I could barely move it a couple feet. So full respect for
Right.
every barley that makes its way to us. But
Built-in gym rows for work.
it is seriously that
Oh,
is
man.
a workout.
Yeah.
I will not be picking up a shift. So
Yeah, because they do like the old world style floor malting, right? Not many people are left doing
Mhm.
that.
No,
So
it's
that's
really
super cool.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they've got these rakes that they got somebody to custom make for them and engineer these, and they are no joke. Which I love. But
Well, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, lots of labor of love here for sure, and the love is coming through, definitely. Yeah, we kind of wanted to transition to the back end and sort of talk about what the future holds for Jetty Wave, and if you guys have any like R&D stuff that you're working on, or any collaborations, events, stuff like that. And
We might have a couple things in our pocket.
things
okay,
coming up.
Anything you can talk
We've
about.
been really excited with some of the like
yeah,
demand that's been happening with the RTDs. We really weren't sure how the RTD was going to go in the bottle. We went with this because we had the bottles already, and it was something that could be
And
bottled.
it's a little classier than a can.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a martini in a can.
yeah.
Exactly.
I
And
could see
so
that.
we're kind of experimenting more with the bottle as an RTD container.
Okay.
It's not something that I think a lot of people are doing in like the bottle instead of the can. We have some breweries around here. We could definitely explore the can eventually, but I love that it goes with our portfolio. It doesn't stand out. It's not its own class.
Right.
It's still Jetty Wave. It's still our spirits.
It's our
It's
gin
exactly
and our vodka.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the
Made up.
same 2 products. They're just,
paired up perfectly.
paired up and a little touch of bergamot.
So hoping to expand into some more RTD things.
Maybe the
Okay.
old fashioned.
Potentially that Harbor Master Old Fashioned, I would say, is my biggest project I'm working on, which is why we're experimenting with those 5-gallon barrel
Okay.
aging for the cocktail program. Pending how that goes, we'd love to introduce it as a ready to drink cocktail, pour out Old Fashioned onto a big cube with that apple and vanilla syrup. Again, with a partnership with our lovely partners at Philoli, who they grow a bunch of different heritage apples that are native to California. So we want to be able to utilize some of their ingredients and different things that they've been growing for years and years at this house that's been a part of.
Which is another place you should go visit if you've never wandered the grounds of Philoli. They do
Mhm.
summertime concerts. It's a big historic house and gardens. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a very
cool.
special place.
All right, we'll put it on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our list is
So
getting
is it-
long.
It sounds like a whole weekend down there.
Well, that's the best experience where
Yeah.
you got all the different things to check out, brings the folks in for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd say those are our big things that we kind of want to go towards, and maybe expanding into some different things with like specialty products like Amaro. But we are really loving like
I'm playing around with an Amaro
Yeah.
right now.
we're really just kind of loving finding things that speak to Half Moon Bay, maybe
Yeah.
using artichoke or different things that are super
Mhm.
special to us here in Half Moon Bay, and not really straying too far to be able to lose the story of sense of place and where we're
Right.
at. We're really happy with our portfolio right now and the lineup that we have. I feel like we have something that speaks to every person that walks in the door.
Yes.
Here at Jetty Wave, if they're not a spirits person, or if they're not like a gin person, we've got whiskey. If they're not a whiskey person, we have gin or vodka. And even like the coffee liqueur speaks to almost every person that walks in the
Yeah.
door. So it's fun to be able to do those.
The coffee liqueur
collaborations.
is a collaboration with the local coffee roaster in Pacifica.
Okay.
And they're actually moving across the street
that's
from us.
nice.
They're just
Perfect.
so exciting.
Coffee Street, and it's so good. I mean, I think everyone always thinks Kahlua. This is not Kahlua. This is not cloying at all. It's the perfect amount of sweet. It's delicious poured over ice cream. It's amazing. Coffee steamy.
Bam.
Very cool.
Wasn't my whistle.
Yeah. So I know you guys were drinking some cocktails when we started. And you guys are kind of known for your cocktails. Do each of you have an absolute favorite?
Ooh. Oh man, Kim makes so many good cocktails that I just love them all.
Variety
Yeah.
is the spice of life, right?
Johnny really likes the Gold Rush, which is our bourbon,
Mm.
a honey and mint syrup, and our lemon juice. That's a really fun one.
And the
And the Tech Billionaire is
And the
one of
gimlet.
Johnny's, and the gimlet that I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I'm really like a tight gin drinker. I really enjoy like gin and tonics or gimlets, a gin martini, anything that kind of just highlights the flavors that are in the gin. I think I've just gained, of course, when you're younger, you want something that tastes nothing like the booze that you take that you're
Right.
drinking it with, and you kind of want to hide that flavor. And I think now, as I've explored more into spirits making, all I want to do is like pump that up and really highlight that and make sure that that's the focus of the drink. So even with syrups or different things that we introduce, it's always subtle enough that you're still going to taste the spirit. You're still going to be able to understand why we paired those things together.
One of my other favorites these days is a gin Ricky, which is new to me, but instead of gin and tonic, tonic actually, as it turns out, has a ton of sugar.
Yeah.
So it's gin and lime
Lime.
juice and sparkling water.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's super refreshing. And you sort of feel like I'm drinking, but I'm also hydrating.
Right. It's healthy.
Double
And the
that.
gin really comes through on
Yeah.
that. So I'm loving that.
Yeah. What about you guys? Are you guys a big cocktail person, or are you thinking more like straight spirits?
I am a cocktail person. I like spirit forward cocktails a bit more. I guess, I don't typically like, some more of the tons of ingredients, I like to, if it can be a 3 ingredient cocktail, I love it. I love brown derbies. I mean, who doesn't love an old fashioned? I've been making rye tais lately with kind of the original Mai Tai recipe, but swap out the rye. And I love, just like you were saying, Kim, I love it when you can kind of get the oak woodiness of the rye coming through in the Mai Tai. That's really good. But yeah, I tend to lean more towards like the sour, citrusy forward cocktails for sure.
Yeah, I like drinking cocktails. I'm terrible at making them. So to me, the best cocktail is the one that's in front of me that I didn't have to make. So that's kind of my thing. At home, I'm mostly a neat or on ice for my spirits. But when I go out, I love having other people. And our producer used to be a bartender in a past life. So he makes a killer old fashioned. So
I'm surprised you don't come over here and strong arm him into making you more cocktails, Dave.
Drop off all the ingredients.
So yeah, our producer Dave is also at our house. He's known as Neighbor Dave because we're neighbors. So we tend to we call them porch whiskeys, and every once in a while they're porch cocktails. So it's getting to be that season.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
Kind of porch cocktail season year round.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, little bonfires, I'm sure, and every time I come to the coast, I'm like, I need multiple oysters because it's like little encapsulation of all the salinity of being out on the coast, and I always think of whiskey, bonfires, and oysters. Yeah, are you guys doing any like events like farmers markets or anything where you can kind of be more forward facing with the community?
I would love for the California laws to allow us to be at farmers markets. In Oregon, the distilleries can pour at farmers markets and sell bottles.
Yeah.
And we're not allowed.
Yeah, we're kind of a little bit tight on some of those things. But we have happening actually right behind us. We have our Harvard Farmers Market that happens. They just started it back up again once a month, and so we're right next to them, and so we kind of capture people in those types of things. And our special events are mostly we'll host mixology classes where we'll teach how to make some of our spirits and distillery tours every first Friday of the month. Those are all bookable online on talk.com, Jetty Wave Distillery. And we've done some really fun events. We just did one in collaboration with Dr. Kevin Peterson. He wrote the Cocktail Theory book. And we did a distillery dinner with paired dinner with
Mm.
cocktails.
That's super
And
cool.
just kind of a sensory immersive experience. We kind of had really low lighting and kind of explored. He runs a perfumery and cocktail lounge, and
Hmm.
so it was kind of a nose to mouth to taste evening. So we like to do things like that on Thursdays or during the week when we're not open to the public, if we don't have events or production item lines during the week. And those have been really fun to collaborate on. And then, of course, we do summer nights with Filoli on Thursdays throughout the month, and just staying out there.
And
I
we
mean,
do go to like the Silicon Whiskey Festival and
Silicon Valley
events
Whiskey
like that.
Festival has been really fun. The Wine and Jazz Festival we were just a part of in May, which has been this really new up and coming event that's been happening in downtown Main Street for around Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
And that's been a very fun event to be a part of. And we do a lot of collaboration with our local charities. So even like the Sea Hugger events where we donate, we have a Sea Hugger cocktail. We donate proceeds from that drink to our beach cleanup organization, Sea Hugger. We have the Cabrillo Education Foundation for their cornhole tournament we sponsor. So a lot of like local events we end
the
up being
Heal
a part of.
Project, which is near and dear to my heart. They do garden education for the local elementary schools.
Cool.
We participate in their
Mhm.
fundraising dinners.
Senior
and whatnot.
co-siders.
Senior co-siders.
Yeah. We love to do those types of things in the community, just
That's
in
great.
Half Moon Bay. If we can get off site, we're there most of the time. So that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are doing a lot of great work in the community. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So you guys have been around, did you say for 5 years you've been officially open?
In January, we celebrated our 5th anniversary.
Wow. Well, congrats. Yeah. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you guys envision kind of staying the same size for quite a while and everything like that? Or are you kind of in the happy space of where you're at right now?
I think we're in a happy space where we are. I think we're sort of tiptoeing into distribution.
Okay.
We're popping up on restaurant menus and getting into specialty liquor stores.
Whole Foods.
I know we got
Okay.
Whole Foods.
Oh,
Oh,
wow,
well, that's
great.
huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
We're in 2 locations right
Yeah.
now.
Napa and Oakland. Plug.
Napa and Oakland, yeah.
Plug.
And we're
Yeah.
on a couple fun menus like the Surfrider Hotel in Malibu
Wow.
put us
Cool.
on the menu, and Arquette Restaurant and
so good.
Camper in Menlo Park. So
Those are some
there's
great
nothing that makes me
placements.
happier
Yeah.
than sitting at one of those bars and having a delicious meal and ordering a Jetty Wave cocktail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever kind of like almost secret shopper it and get into a conversation with the
You
person
have?
next to at the bar? So, what do you think about this?
I would get this. I would.
Oh wow, they have Jetty Wave gin. Amazing.
Wow.
That's my favorite gin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's really, for me at least, like incredibly fulfilling to walk into just even markets that are by our house and walking in the market and seeing our bottles on a shelf. It feels so good to know, for one, I probably put that label on myself, or I probably made that product myself, and then to see it sitting on a shelf because of connections that our team has made with those stores. It just feels so full circle, and it almost like expands our community every time that somebody has our stuff in their store. It kind of opens up another door for us to kind of
Mhm.
welcome more people into our community and find new people who are interested. So that for us has been
Yeah,
so
it's fun.
rewarding.
We've done a bunch of consumer forward tastings like at K&L Wine
Okay.
in San Francisco, Redwood
yeah.
City, Bitters and Bottles. And it's fun to just introduce
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
to
So,
our product.
where can our listeners and viewers find your product?
Well, we're
Online, of course, at
online
jettywave.com.
at
We
Jetty
ship
Wave.
anywhere within the state of California. We are available at K&L, which is in San Francisco, as well as Redwood City, select Whole Foods locations, and then a lot of like small bottle shops,
Bitters
and,
and Bottles.
Bitters and Bottles,
Craft in Alameda.
and Craft on College, Alkali Rye in Oakland.
Such a cute liquor store
Such
in
a cute liquor
Oakland.
store. And just some really great locations
Locally,
where
Spangler's,
Mhm.
Cunha Market,
Coastside Market.
Coastside Market, Oceana. We actually on our website have a store located.
Okay. Very
Oh,
So
cool.
you can
perfect.
see what bars we're in, what
Mhm.
restaurants we're in,
versus bars.
and what markets you can buy it at.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, man, it's been such a pleasure talking with you
It's been
two
so fun
today,
talking with you guys.
Kim, Tanya. I was wondering if you had any closing thoughts for our listeners as we wrap it up today.
It's a great question.
Come visit.
Come visit.
And
Come
that
and see
applies
us
to
at
you
Jetty
guys
Wave.
too.
To you guys as well. Get out of the house. Drink a good cocktail. Drink it with good company. I think that's the
And
number.
drink like it matters.
And drink like it matters. Like every drink and every dollar you put out to, find something that you want to enjoy, support the people you want to support, be there, drink good stuff. A good cocktail and good company. Hardly anything can go wrong at that point. So that's my biggest thing. Enjoy a cocktail every once in a while.
And enjoy a light hug from our whiskey.
light hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you too. Such a good time. Yeah, no. Like I said, instantly felt the warmth meeting you guys at American Craft Spirits Association conference, and
That was such a great conference.
Yes.
I'm so glad we connected there.
yes,
Same.
and you guys are true to form here on the interview on Distilling the West. So we're so glad to have you guys on. Let's pour up just a slight little taster to cheers on the episode here. I'm gonna go single malt. Looks like Dave and producer Dave are going for the bourbon.
I'm with you guys, Dave.
You're feeling that hug from that bourbon, aren't you?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Here's to Jetty Wave. Cheers.
Anyway,
Cheers.
cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so
Ching,
much.
ching. Thank you.
Mm.
We'll see you down here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
For sure this
Absolutely.
summer.